Hello, welcome to Ep1 of the MooseDUCK podcast. And I'm your host, MooseDUCK. Hope you guys are doing a great day. So, just want to get into the topic we're about to discuss right now. And that is the 22-23 season of the Anaheim Ducks. Let me be very honestly clear. At the start of the season, I was hoping for and basically expecting this team to, you could say, take the next step, take the movement forward in hitting the ground running. After game one win versus the Squidheads, basically the Seattle Kraken, it's very clear to me that there was a lot of reluctancy and there was a lot of hesitancy among the players. I know most of you have basically felt the team was going to fall, going to falter, and was hoping for the Ducks to tank. I disagree with that. As much as we debate for the past 7.5 months, the results of our Anaheim Ducks, our team, is final. It's basically etched in stone. The Ducks are 23, 47, 12, 58 points. They are last in the league, last in the Pacific Division, last in the NHL Western Conference. Calling this season the worst season, or a disappointing season, or a sorry season, is a mercy and very lenient. No amount of excuses, complaints, analysis, or justification of where and how and why this team is where it is right now cannot tell you or tell everyone, including myself, about this season being what it is. Basically, this season is a chaotic, turbulent mess, full of mistakes, full of losing skids, full of strategies that's out of touch and losing to teams that we're supposed to win. This rebuilding phase, plus with the learning curve of many of this team's young core players, is a hard lesson that is stinging. What stings the most is the Anaheim Ducks breaking a 29-year-old record of total losses. 47 losses. Let that sink in, of 47 losses. The previous low point record of total losses was in 1994 of 46. Let's keep that in mind. Let's keep that in our up to here, because the onus is on these players. And speaking of these players, speaking of where and why this team have so much flaws, so much inconsistencies, to the point that it is frustrating, annoying, and extremely mind-boggling. For the life of me, you wonder, with so much talent, so much potential and skills. The talent is there. The skills are there. The one problem I see right there in our team was the underutilizing and the underuse of the strengths of all players, no matter if they were good on defense, if they're good on offense. You see it in the players from the forwards to the goaltending to the defense. Being in this matter, being in where they are right now, it will forever be part of the annal of Ducks history. It will be part of our memories. But in doing so, all Ducks fans, including our Anaheim Ducks, cannot lament on the chaotic mess that is the 22-23 season. There were some players that disappointed me. And there were basically some players that looked out of sync, look basically lost at times. It really comes down to utilizing the strengths of all the players within the rank and file of the Anaheim Ducks. Never in basically my life I would see this team be where it is right now. Am I mad? No. Am I angry? No. Am I frustrated? Absolutely yes. I was expecting more. I'm going to give you an honest view. Before the puck drop for the 22-23 season, I was hoping that the Ducks, especially Z-Man, Trevor Zegras, Troy Terry, Simon Benoit, Isaac Lundstrom, Max Jones, Jamie Drysdale would take that next step. But it's very clear that the reluctancy and the hesitancy, along with this stupid, idiotic rope-a-dope strategy that is nothing more than sitting back and letting our division rivals, conference enemies, and other teams to dictate the flow of the game. Sitting back is not going to win you games. Sitting back and allowing your goaltender to face 40 to 50 shots per game, no matter if it was John Gibson, Anthony Stolores, or Lucas Dostor, it's literally insane. It is mentally taxing. And you wonder why J.S. Jaguar and Guy Bear had to deal with this issue. They had support. They had defensive support. The original Mighty Duck, Guy Bear, he was relied on various times. He was relied on many games to bail the Ducks out, as was Ducks legendary goalie Jean-Sébastien Giguère. They had defensive support. But when you have a team that has a blue line that is green as gourds, that is non-existent, that just sits back and allow the Ducks goalies to face 40 to 50 shots per game, I would not be surprised if there was a lot of flare-ups within the locker room. But that's just me speculating. With all that's been going on over the past 7 months, I was hoping this team would turn it around. But it's clear that there has been a lot of differences in how this team has been going through the motions, been going through the lack of strategy and vision and identity in winning the games and dominating their enemies and rivals. It boils down to the comparisons of where our Ducks finish this season with the previous season. The 21-22 season, our Anaheim Ducks finished at 31, 37, 14 with 76 points. Okay. The final standings of this season year was 23, 47, 12, and 58 points. In the league, the Ducks were 23rd last year in season. Right now, they're 32nd. They are 16th in the Western Conference, 8th in the Pacific Division. I'm not going to mention any more comparisons because all of us know that this team collapsed and imploded since the last few months before the season concluded. As tough and difficult as we watch this team go forward, it's more than just hard to watch. It can be confusing. The on-ice product, it just feels like, doesn't feel like a season. It doesn't feel like how would I put this way? It doesn't feel intense as it was the previous seasons before, no matter if the Ducks were winning and losing. Honestly, to be very clear with all of you, the 22-23 season felt like an extension of the Ducks training camp. Time and time again, I know many of you, including myself, wondered, why is this team like this? And of course, it comes down to basically having the right strategy to win. And what I saw over these months, what I saw over these games, no matter if they were winning and losing, here are three things that really bugs the frack out of me. Number one is the passiveness. You know what I'm talking about. The passiveness of the Ducks on the attack and on the defense. Standing around doing absolutely nothing is not going to win you games. Okay? Relying on your goaltenders as if they are gods or demigods or superhuman will not get you victories or wins over your enemies and rivals. It never does. Two, it's the defensive zone, strategies, and coverage. It seems non-existent. And this is no disrespect to the coaches or anyone else. You guys know what I'm talking about. When you have the defenseman going out to cover their man, that leaves the goaltender wide open. And three, the forwards need to do more. The forwards need to do more in trying to get things done. I expected more from Trevor Zegras, Troy Terry, and others. They know full well that it's their team, and the only way for them to move forward is to contribute more and set your mark. I know the Z-Man is young at 22 years of age. Mason McTavish has just turned 20. And Jamie Drysdale is in his early 20s. It just, at times, it's frustrating. And at times, you just want to scream and yell. But at the long run, all of it comes down to that this is a hard lesson for this next generation of Ducks to understand, learn, and really, really appreciate what it means and a privilege to play the sport of hockey. But also to understand that nothing is easy. Nothing is given. Everything has to be persevered through. it has to be looked at that this generation of Ducks players should take this as a lesson, a tough, hard one, that for our team to overcome any odds, which they face a lot of obstacles, they must persevere. And guys like Zigris, Terry, and others, the duties, the roles, and the responsibilities is on their shoulders. The onus is on them. They fall short. And as much as we lament, we should not. Like life, and yes, I'm talking about life. Our Anaheim Ducks is going through a rough, long path to not only regroup and refocus, but also to readjust and embrace the path ahead. Let me just say this. In the coming days and weeks, there's going to be a few important dates that will set in motion, hopefully, not just the Anaheim Ducks refocusing, because our Anaheim Ducks and Ducks fans need more than just a rebuild. They need a revival. They need a re-energize, a new energy. We had that before in previous seasons. We can have it again. It all comes down to is having a new coach, having a new sound game plan strategy that is proactive, aggressive, that will allow our Anaheim Ducks to finish from period 1 to period 3, 60 to 65 minutes full. Not this halfway, sorry for an excuse, score 2 goals and let your goaltender do all the work. You have no idea how sick and tired I am. It's annoying. It is very annoying to see this. Next month will be May 8th, the NHL Draft Lottery. I have made my views known about this system. I do not trust this system. I do not trust it. I see it as a flawed system. And I don't know how we're going to do well. But I know that having the fate of what Ducks will select is something that I will tolerate. It is something that I will accept. Where the NHL Draft Lottery will decide what number the Ducks will pick, whether it be the 3rd, 5th place, or 2nd place, or basically the number 1 pick. I understand most of you who supported the tanking will know what I'm getting at. Well, others don't, because say, for example, if the NHL Draft Lottery grants us the number 1 pick, I will be, yes, I'm going to say this, I will be very, very surprised. Whatever happens from there it will be something I will discuss later on. But it comes down to what fate will decide. We can predict and project where the Ducks will draft after the draft lottery that they will participate. But one thing is really coming down to is this offseason, the Ducks need a revival and they need a renaissance refocus. And that is something that I know all Ducks fans will be watching the draft lottery with interest. The second important date will be the June 28th, 29th, the NHL entry draft. You will see the new generation of players who will wear the Ducks D or the Mighty Ducks logo, whatever one it is. Whoever is the next generation of players that the Ducks will draft, I have a good feeling that it will be a player that will be destined to be part of our team's revival and major energy focus. It's necessary to, you can say, have a positive outlook on this. If there's one thing I learned from local Ducks fans is that they see the optimism ahead of the tunnel at the end of the path. Something I learned when I was in Anaheim a few times during my Mighty Ducks Anaheim Ducks road trips. It's pretty eye-opening. It can be construed as annoying, but then again, we agree to disagree. And finally, the third important date is July 1st, NHL free agent frenzy. We have a lot of things to say about that. We know the Ducks. We know the Ducks always will try to sign key free agents that will help in the development of the Ducks youth within the rank and file. It's common knowledge. It's their MO. They have done this many times. Signing a key free agent can, you can say, signifies or symbolize the Ducks are serious about improving. So those are three key dates. I also want to look at and talk about one recent thing that's been going on. And that is the news that Dallas Eakins, the now former head coach of our Anaheim Ducks, will be let go. As many of you know, his contract was not renewed. And I know he was a polarizing figure. He was, because of his game plan strategy. His, you can call it out of touch, but he is a good person. He looks like a good guy, but clearly he is not cut out to be an NHL coach. No disrespect to him. I think he's a good guy and a good head coach. But it all comes down to getting the results and getting the potential to have and see our Anaheim Ducks win games and dominate and crush our enemies from one end of the ice to the other. Dallas Eakins is a class act. I just want to share with you what he said after he was let go. It's read as follows. I will be forever grateful for my 8 years in the Ducks organization. From jump-starting San Diego to dealing with COVID to a full-on rebuild was an inspiring and rewarding challenge. Every staff member and player made me a better coach, but more importantly, a better person. the enthusiasm and patience of the fans will never be forgotten. Thank you, Bob Murray and Pat Verbeek, for giving me a chance. I will always be in your debt. Thank you, Henry, Susan, and Jillian Samuel, for the inspiration. Your leadership makes the Ducks organization an incredible place to work. You remind us of that community and others come first. But most of all, thank you to my three wonderful ladies at home who support me like no other. I look forward to our next great adventure. Truly a class act. And truly someone who had to be held accountable. Coaches like him and everywhere else, if the team is not doing good, they always have to be held accountable. And having him being let go is no surprise. Speaking of accountability, what I want from this team next season, after the off season, that will be important to improve, to refocus, and to readjust our team. I want to see a culture of winning, accountability, unity, and a clear focus, a collective will that will get our team over the hump, finish games, win, and set the tone by dominating our enemies in the Pacific Division, in the Western Conference, and of course the NHL. Be a team that is hard to play against and have the Honda Center to be a tough place to play. Simple as that. And we all want accountability, not just from the head coaches or coaches, but from the players themselves. I'm not going to name names on who the players are, but I'm going to tell you this right now is that there are certain players that should be consistent, that should take the ball or the hockey stick and start to score and start to set the tone by hit the ground running. There's no need to just be to sit back and play in a strategy that has no, or should I say, purpose that fits or mesh well in a player's strengths. It's very necessary to see the strengths and abilities of our players mesh well, strategies and the game plans, game in and game out. That didn't seem to happen a lot, leading to a series of losing skits. I also want to say this. Next season, in a few months, will be a symbolic one for our team. It will mark 30 years of Mighty Ducks Anaheim Ducks hockey. "30 years. 3 decades. Will mark a symbolic moment, a period of reflection and reminiscing and remembering, but also a look back. I know most of you are happy that this season has concluded, this chaotic mess. As we move forward, for this team to honor the past, they must also inspire not just the present, but motivate those within the Ducks roster and their team to be inspired and ready to contribute. Not only just win, dominate. Strike fast, strike hard, and lay the smackdown on anyone that gets in their way. That is Ducks hockey. To show that ruthlessness, that unrelenting aggression and might, that fighting spirit we need. It's something we need. It's something that makes Ducks hockey fun to watch. I would love to have this logo be made the official logo once more. I have nothing against the Anaheim Ducks word mark. That will forever be part of the Ducks' link to winning the Stanley Cup in 2007. Just like the Mighty Ducks logo, the original one, as forever linked to the Ducks winning the Western Conference Championship and reaching to the Stanley Cup Finals. What more is there to know that there is a lot of optimism, a lot of hope going forward? So, it'll be the first time I'm going to do something here today. So I'm going to read some super chats. Hi, Tim. How you doing, brother? And hello, Matthew. I'm doing pretty good. Move back home. Move back, man. Root for the home team. I'm looking to visit. I'm Canadian. I'm from the farther part of where the Ducks are from. So, and yes, make the Ducks mighty again. But not only that, make this logo be the permanent logo once more. I have nothing against the Ducks, D. I have nothing against the Ducks word mark. Those logos are now part of our team's history and heritage. So what it all boils down to is looking forward and looking past this chaotic mess. And I'm going to end this chat, end this stream. I just want to thank every one of you. I also want to thank all 53 subscribers. If you're watching this video, pass this video along. Like this video. Share it with everyone. And I want to thank you all for your support. Thank you. Kitos to all.